Hello and welcome to the Tippy Show. This guide is for getting the achievement Balkan Problem Solved, which requires you to start as Bulgaria, flip communist, form the United Balkan Federation, and own all core land. This includes the lands of Romania, the Turkish states in Europe, Yugoslavia, all of the Greek states, and the Italian states in the Balkans. It's a lot. Also, a hidden requirement is you have to be a faction leader. This achievement traditionally requires a lot of RNG, with most guides following an exact path. This guide's goal is to minimize this, making you need to rely less on bad game design. Starting as Bulgaria, we have many starting issues. We have army restrictions, which disallows recruiting new units, changing templates, and even designing tanks. We're also dealing with the IMRO, a small group that hurts our political power gain, stability, and even how much other countries like us. And lastly, we're dealing with the second national catastrophe, which hurts our stability over time. Starting with a tiny army, small industry, and with massive starting debuffs, we will soon become one of the strongest nations in Europe and in the world. First thing, research. We are going to be pretty much just focusing on industry early game. There isn't actually any researches that we're desperate for our construction, because we're on civilian economy, which gives massive debuffs to civilian and military factories. We're just going to be making some infrastructure, and this is a great time to also start making our spy agency. It's something we desperately do need. And no focus, because the moment that we do this focus right here, opposing the royal dictatorship, something we need to do, we'll get Tsar Boris III, which gives a horrible national spirit, negative 15% political power. So yeah, we are going to not do that for now. We need to save up approximately 150 political power before we can do our focus. So we need 2 spies. You get one as soon as you make your spy agency. You can get another one via advisor, but the third spy, you have to do 5 agency upgrades. The upgrades I like to do is Fun Time Sometime pills. Your spies are more likely to off themselves. Invisible ink, it's just more intelligence, which is great. Interrogation techniques, more likely to catch enemy spies. Commando training is awesome. And then passive defense, of course. If you get the chance to get psychological warfare, do it, get it. If you get the chance to do localized training centers, do it. For my industry, we are not going to be making any trucks. We are instead going to be focusing on support equipment. Okay, we look good. We look good. So we can recruit a spy. This guy, come on, actually is pretty good. But we aren't going to, because if you get spies before your civil war, it can be kind of finicky sometimes. We do have 181 political power. Opposing the royal dictatorship is going to move us down to 171. But that is still way more than enough. Communist revolutionary, here we go. We'll just keep saving our political power. We're going to need another 150. Thankfully, once we appoint communist ministers, that gives us 70 more political power. We're going to do dispersed industry. It's really for that production efficiency base, 5%. So that's as we add in new production lines, instead of starting at 0, it'll start at 5%, which is pretty good. Is a tiny country who's suddenly going to be getting a lot of factories. I think that's a good idea. Okay, so the faction management minigame for Bulgaria is now unlocked. We will be doing this later. Yeah, I'm not going to explain this right now. It's easy, I promise, but there are things we need to do first, like preparing for a civil war. And then once we have 100 political power, then we can do our civil war. That should be everything we need for the agency upgrades. I still want psychological warfare and localized training centers. Once I have the factories, I'll do those. Worker strikes. So you will get this event. It's going to give faction popularity to the broad socialists, a little bit of communism, and a pretty nasty national spirit that lasts for 120 days. That is what we're going to be doing. We don't want to lose that 5% stability. That's just unnecessary. Okay, when this focus finishes, we'll have 100 political power. Beautiful. Okay. Now is time for the civil war. Let's ignite it, rush up, and refuse the army restrictions. That's going to be getting rid of the army restrictions, national spirit. We can finally increase our conscription laws, declare wars, train units, disband units, make our own templates. So let's refuse that. Grab up our entire army. I like to promote this guy because he does have that brilliant strategist. Aggressive assaulter, yes sir. Front line, and we will be rushing down. let's unify the bourgeoisie movement. It's going to give 30 political power, a little bit of stability, some communism, and broad socialist loyalty. All in all, pretty nice. Also, I will start attacking now. Okay, so you want to hit down on the lower portion of the national Bulgaria. And with that tile taken, we will be marching most of our forces right there, with only one of them taking the port, and then he can continue. Okay, just like that. I do like to have these guys pinned. There we go. That is the end. And then we need to immediately delete our entire army. We need all of our guns. We need all of our support equipment. Speaking of guns and support equipment, let's start buying some steel just so that we have enough to be able to be making support equipment and guns. Okay, we're looking good. We're looking very good. Also, we can start recruiting some spies. Here we go. We are going to be putting this one on Turkey, and our other spy, we're going to be boosting ideology. You see, Bulgaria has a fun little mini game that absolutely sucks. When you do the Treaty of Perpetual Friendship and then the Balkan Federation of Socialist Republics, if you flip Turkey, Romania, as well as Greece, even Albania, if you flip them to communist, you can add them to your faction and then annex them. Everything in the Balkans is cores. It's awesome. But it's really RNG dependent. It's expensive. It's very hard to get all of them. So we are going to be just getting the important ones. You get Yugoslavia by default. It's great. But we're just going to be targeting Turkey, even though you only get these as cores. Romania's focus tree has major ideology shifts, which can make flipping them very difficult. Greece and Albania have too small of an army, so we're just going to be ignoring them for now. Also, now that we have political power, it's time for the faction management. It is very, very important to do this. If you don't, they can all do a coup against you, and that can be kind of annoying. Thankfully, you have plenty of time, so honestly, you don't have anything to worry about. Basically, once you get the Broad Socialist and Agrarian Union up to 100 loyalty, and I think it's 95 popularity, you can integrate them. You no longer have to worry about them. You get a bunch of cool advisors. It's great. If you do the focus, cooperate with the Zveno, it'll allow you to cooperate with the Zveno, this faction right here. Think of this as a military faction. They have great generals. They have a great chief of staff. Where is he? Right here. They have a great chief of staff. So we are going to be integrating them as well. The order we will be doing it is Proud Socialists because we need them to do our focuses. Then the Zveno, Agrarian Union, then we will be destroying the National Social Movement. The way you get loyalty and popularity is via these little decisions right here. So let's start allowing Broad Socialist speech for a little bit of loyalty. Now we'll be doing a joint act with the Broad Socialists. Yes, it does cost 20 political power. It is very expensive, but we gotta be rushing this early. It is very important to rush this early. With unifying the bourgeoisie movement, it gives us a bit more political power to play with. Let's legalize the Broad Socialist organization. It's going to be giving us a couple more decisions, which is great. And it's going to be preventing us from ever repressing them. So before we can overthrow the Tsar, unless we want to go into another civil war, we need to have over 30 stability. We only have 22 right now. Thankfully, if we can do Macedonian organizations, that gives us the stability we need. And it also will allow us to start getting rid of this nasty national spirit. So let's focus on that first. Okay, so we are going to just be funding and doing joint acts with the Broad Socialists pretty much whenever we get the option, up until we get to at least 95 loyalty. We can now cooperate with the Zveno. It's going to allow us to start cooperating with them, which is great. Gives us a bit of war support, which is also great. And we can now do the anti-IMRO propaganda. It's going to make improving relations a bit easier. But really, we just want to rush this so we can get daily political power gain back. Once funding the Broad Socialists is done, we should be able to appoint Broad Socialist members. It's going to give us a nice advisor, which we unfortunately probably won't even use. But if you want to, go ahead. It's a good advisor. Okay, let's overthrow the Tsar. We have 40 stability. Nothing to worry about here. So we do need a little bit more loyalty before we can integrate the Broad Socialists. But instead of doing that, I do like to make sure that the Zveno at this point and the Agrarian Union both have at least 45 loyalty. because every time you integrate a faction, the other factions get really mad at you. -10 loyalty. And we can persecute the MIRO activists. Let's get that political power in 60 days. Yeah, we're going to be bolstering the Zveno. It's going to be giving us that chief of army. And we have overthrown the Tsar. Let's now do the People's Republic of Bulgaria. We will also be improving relations with Yugoslavia at this point. Okay, with the Zveno at 50, the Agrarian Union at 50, and the National Social Movement being at we genuinely couldn't care less. Let's integrate the Broad Socialists now. It's going to cost 20 political power, but it is going to give us 120 political power and some stability, which we do really need. Because of this national spirit, we are continuously losing stability. This focus, though, in 40 days should get rid of that weekly stability malice. We have 100 political power. Let's get that army offense, guys, so that we can start getting some army experience in. We're going to need a decent amount if we're going to be able to do anything here with our templates. And the Bulgarian People's Republic has been declared. Let's do the Treaty of Perpetual Friendship. The Broad Socialists have been integrated. Turkey is currently at 9% communist support because our spies have been doing work this whole time. Now, the Zveno and the Agrarian Union are at 40% loyalty. We did lose that 10%. The next group we'll be targeting is going to be the Zveno, so let's fund them. We also have 188 political power. You can just wait and get the war economy. No, I'm going to go partial mobilization now. That way we can start making some military factories. I'm going to improve relations again. I try to keep the relations at 75 minimum. Let's establish the Zveno's social directory. This is going to give us some stability. We're going to lose some more support, but we're going to get a whole lot of loyalty from the Zveno. At this point, I am going to be researching towed artillery. It's kind of necessary. Nice. Yugoslavia has signed the treaty. This is going to give us a non-aggression pact between me and them. It's going to give us both this nice little national spirit, which gives a lot amount of communism, and it opens up a decision, 2 decisions actually, down at the very bottom here, the Balkan Federation dream. The Balkan Federation project is a 120-day decision. It is hella expensive on the political power. At the end of it, you get a bunch of political power, 70, 10% communism. Yugoslavia gets 10% communism as well. And we both get an event that creates a faction, inviting us both to it. So let's do that. Both of these. We want to destabilize the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. This is going to give them 10% communism and -5 stability. We want them to, actually, we don't even care if they flip. The only one we care about is Turkey. That's right. Let's abolish the Tarvano Constitution. It would have been nice to do this earlier, but we just didn't have time. It makes the decisions to activate any faction management in half. Did that sentence make sense? Basically, instead of costing 20, it's only 10 for the faction management, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we must silence them before they become a greater threat. We're not going to be integrating them, so we genuinely couldn't care less. Do need to do a joint act with the Zveno one more time, and then we will be able to integrate them. I'm also going to start getting some support weapons research in. It just gives some small little bonuses towards defense breakthrough for our infantry, which is nice. Okay, let's do the People's Militia Directorate. A little bit of stability, but it's going to give us a new operative, which is cool. We are at 100% loyalty for the Zveno, but only 35% for the Agrarian Union. So let's try to boost them up to like 45%. Okay, now we can integrate the Zveno, and then we no longer have to worry about them. Nice, the Balkan Federation project is done, which does open up our focus tree a bit. But we do have to wait until this focus is done first. With our political power, I do want another spy for a grand total of 4. And we can do the Balkan Socialist Republics now. It's going to give 10% stability, but it's also going to create that faction between me and Yugoslavia. And it's going to let me start boosting communism pretty hard inside Turkey, which is great because we have them at 20% right now. These have been integrated. Now, let's do a joint act with the Agrarian Union. They are the next to be integrated. Cool, another spy, and I will be putting them on Turkey to boost communism. Cool, they accepted. They are now a part of our faction. We will not be moving down to bury the grudges of the past just yet, because it invites any independent communist nation in the Baltic to our faction. And right now, there are none. We need Turkey. So let's acquire some modern tools. And we have the Balkan Federation dream. Opens up a bunch of decisions to either give a daily communism support of 0.20 for 180 days to any of the countries in the Balkans minus Hungary, Austria, and Czechoslovakia, if you count that as the Balkans. Or we can just do destabilizing them, and in 30 days, same thing as with Yugoslavia, 10% communism. We're going to be doing both of those, but only for Turkey. You can forget about Kingdom of Romania, Yugoslavia, you can forget about Kingdom of Greece, you can forget about all that. Let's just do the Balkan Federation propaganda and destabilize Turkey. That's it. Now they are gaining so much communism so quickly. And our final spy. I always like to put them on propaganda, which lowers stability and war support. Let's improve the road system. Let's keep making sure that we're buying these materials. We really need to make sure we have guns and support equipment. Look at that. Turkey is already at 42%. Appointing agrarian members is going to appoint a political advisor, Nikola here. He gives political power gain plus 10% daily, max factories in a state plus 10%, resources to market negative 10%, and some democracy. This dude is a great advisor. When he is unlocked, we will be getting him. Also, let's invigorate the national industry for 2 more civilian factories. I'm also going to be canceling all of my purchases for raw materials because I do want to try getting psychological warfare. I want to try boosting as much communism in Turkey as humanly possible. So far, we are looking good. None of our spies have been caught. With 4 spies, it's pretty easy to just focus on Turkey. Always have someone boosting ideology and 1 spy on spyweb. And then you can use any of your other spies to rescue if one of your spies gets caught. Nice and easy, nice and simple. I'm going to do one more focus. I think I'm going to purge the elites for 365 days, a whole year. We're going to be getting negative 20% political power. Military leaders are going to be more expensive. Political advisors are going to be more expensive. It's all around rough. Except we have all of the advisors we want. Actually, I want to switch this guy out for someone else. Sure. A bit more political power gain, some research speed, and Balkan Federation propaganda again in Turkey. We need to keep that going. And then in a moment, we can do some destabilization in Turkey. Hopefully get them to flip. Agent killed, RIP, and we are still boosting communism. Let's destabilize Turkey. They're at 60% communism support right now. It's going to bring them to 70, and hopefully they will flip. Also, we can integrate the agrarian union. We're going to put this spy onto Romania at this point. Also, it does not matter if Turkey has flipped just yet. They probably will. So I am going to be bearing the grudges of the past. But I'm going to be keeping an eye on the situation here. If Turkey doesn't flip before this focus is done, I will be canceling this focus and starting it anew. But like I said before, we will be watching the situation. They are at 75% communism, so chances are they should flip. Nice. The agrarians have been integrated, and we can destroy the National Social Movement, starting with banning their social media. Nope, just by banning their media. It's looking like we're going to need to cancel this focus in a moment. So we will be canceling it and then restarting it once again. We want this focus to finish pretty much as soon as they flip. We need to be quick about this, so we will act quick about it. Let's imprison the National Social leaders. It's okay if you have a disappointing outcome, like I just did. We are now going to be raiding their supporters and then destroying. Actually, instead of how dare they, Italy influencing our politics, instead we're just going to get a non-aggression pact with them. It is a great event that allows for a great thing. Let's get a little bit of war support and improve our worker conditions. Turkey still has not flipped. That is okay, we have a bit of time. And I will be restarting this focus again. Balkan Federation propaganda again, and then we'll be destabilizing Turkey. 30 days. Sweet, the Turkish Socialist Republic. So as you can see, it took forever to get them to flip, but they should, especially if you just focus on them and no other countries. And we are now going to be creating a collab government inside Romania. We'll use these two spies. Commence when ready. It is kind of expensive. We won't be able to buy any resources or build any factories, but that's okay, because it's going to be lowering the surrender limit for Romania, making it so much easier to invade them. Also, let's destroy the National Social Movement. Cool. Turkey has joined our faction. We have the two countries that we need with the two largest armies. We'll now be doing the Balkan Trade Union Secretariat. United, we shall prevail. And then the unification of the Balkans. Also, it looks like Yugoslavia did flip communist as well, even though we didn't have to really do anything, which is great. We can forget about this. Also, the National Social Movement has been destroyed, a little bit of stability, and then we no longer have to deal with the factions. The only thing left is to destroy the IMRO remnants, and we can totally do that. Also, we do have a metric ton of political power. We have war support. I am going to be moving on to extensive conscription, and then when Balkan Trade Union Secretariat is done, I'm going to be moving on to war economy. Germany has claimed Memel. They'll be going after Poland in a moment, which will be our moment to strike. This guy, let's put him on a quiet intel network so he doesn't get caught and ruin everything. You know, we're actually looking pretty good. We're looking pretty good. Also, our collab gov is off, so let's go. Okay, in 70 days, Germany will be going to war with Poland. And in 50 days, I will be justifying a war goal on Greece. The unification of the Balkans. 70 days, we will be annexing the SFR, Yugoslavia, and Turkey. Now that World War II has sprung off, let's justify a war goal on Greece. They should not get guaranteed by anyone, and the Romanian guarantee should stay. Cool, that collab gov is done. Put a spy onto Greece to make the invasion a little easier. And then I'm going to be putting another spy onto the Kingdom of Hungary. Alrighty. We're going to be building spy webs everywhere. I'm going to get this infantry expert. It's going to be giving us some command power, which is awesome. But also it's going to be giving us a nice little boost for our infantry attack and defense. We are now a very ugly color. Turkey and Yugoslavia are now integrated. We get cores on everything that is, you know, west of Istanbul. So we'll just be going into our occupied territories tab, release nation, retain states with our core, and releasing Turkey, because we don't really need any of this, just our cores. Let's also grab up our entire new army here, and we have a lot of new generals. So let's get those guys into position. Army 1, we will be putting on Greece. And then Army 2, we will be putting. Also, we do have some dockyards. Let's just start making convoys. We don't have any big ships researched. We also have a lot of factories, so let's start setting up what we want to have produced. I'm thinking we'll just focus on something like this for now. And our army will be getting into position. Let's grab up our Air Force. We do now have a lot of airplanes. And these guys will just be used to target Romania here. Okay, let's expand the Sofia University for another research slot. And with that war goal done, we will be declaring war. They will be calling in Romania. And yeah, we're just going to be pushing. I'm just going to be doing a force attack. I don't really care. Let's also justify a war goal on the Kingdom of Hungary now. It's going to take 165 days. By the time we have beaten... Oh, that was a mistake. I didn't mean to launch all these guys. By the time we have beaten Greece, it should be okay. Okay, let's see if I can't do something like this. Also, let's spring the trap now. There we go. Getting full buffs, and they are getting full debuffs now. We just kind of need to spread very aggressively at this point. Try to make encirclements when you can. Like right here, this is a nice big encirclement. And that should allow me to completely cut off those Greeks from escape. And that's kind of the key to victory here. We should be able to break through. It just looks like we're having some issues right now. Romania has been spamming out that final last stand, which is kind of annoying, but it's fair. It's only been 31 days, so that's okay. And we have taken a decent stretch of land. I'd say our special military operation is being a fairly major success. We just need to keep marching down. And Greece. Yeah, we don't even need to have our faction anymore. Romania is almost dead. Greece is holding on much more just because, you know, their land is so mountainous. A lot more choke points, a lot more difficult to schling your schlong around, as they say. But honestly, I don't really see too much of a problem. Nice. Romania has capitulated. We will just annex and take everything. Half here, boom, boom, and then the other half around. Okay. And then these guys we will have, yep, just travel right through here. Beautiful. Nice. Greece has capitulated. We will take their ships and annex everything. We now have all of our cores, minus, you know, the Greek states, the Italian states. Not bad at all. But let's quickly grab up our entire army and put them on the border with Hungary. We are going to need to beat them pretty quick as well. Yeah, a lot more factories. We are rolling in dough. Yeah, keep making factories, keep making them. Okay, that's weird. Every single one of my test games, the British didn't guarantee Hungary. I've never actually seen them guarantee Hungary. I was so confident they wouldn't, but they did. So there's a chance that Hungary will be guaranteed in your game, and if they are, that's fine. Just beat them with the rest of the Axis. Yeah, okay. Fair enough, UK. So instead, what we will do is we'll place our forces all throughout on the border with Italy and Germany. Let's make one more. Don't need any of these extra templates. Let's make one more army. That way we can put it on Zara, and then we're pretty well taken care of. At this point, it's also a good idea to join the Soviet Union's faction, the Comintern. This is going to prevent them from claiming Bessarabia and taking your core states. Now, you will not have to go to war with the Soviet Union at all. The only faction you now need to defeat is going to be the Axis, so you can take those Italian states. I'm also going to be switching these guys all over to our infantry template. The utmost optimization. Max factories in a state plus 20%. That's insane. Negative 21% consumer goods factor and some production efficiency cap and growth. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy. This national spirit is going to be really good. Let's also start getting transport ships, because I think we're going to be naval invading Italy into the middle. Right now, we're really set up for success. Honestly, at this point, it's kind of whatever you want to do. My only suggestion is to not do the recover Italian territories until you're ready to go to war. Just do whatever other focus you want. Yeah, you've taken over the Balkans at this point, and that's that. I will, yeah, I'm going to be cutting. If there's anything important, I'll keep it in, but I'm going to be cutting to right before I go to war, just for simplicity's sake. So Hungary just demanded Transylvania. I said no, and they declared war on me. If you were able to puppet them, then this wouldn't happen, and you would be able to have relative safety from the Germans for a little while longer. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen for me, so I will just have to quickly deal with them and hope they don't call in the Germans, though, you know, they definitely will. And there we go. The Germans and Italians have been called in. Let's quickly take Zara as well as Albania here. We need to be quick. We need to be very, very quick. And these three armies are literally just supposed to defend this. This is, in my experience, the weakest spot and the hardest to hold. The Soviets are the ones doing the pushes. That's fine. And I think I can try to hold here. But yeah, this is where the Germans usually hit the hardest. So far, joke's on them. They're not able to push. Okay, well, we are holding pretty successfully. Women in the workforce, can we do it? Yes, we can. Total mobilization. Women in the workforce, and there we go. As many factories back as humanly possible. I need to try to take at least this before the Italian Civil War happens. I need to take Fume. Ah, god damn it. Oh no, owner is them. Okay. That's wait, the puppet is ours, but you know what? I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna argue with the logic. If you want to make sure that during the Italian Civil War that the puppet goes to you and not the Soviets or the British, make sure that you control Rome. If you control Rome, by default, the puppet is yours. I got very lucky here with the puppet going to me, even though I didn't own Rome. I believe it was because I took core land from the Italians first, which favors the player more than the AI, I guess. I honestly have no idea. Just make sure you control Rome and you'll be fine. Cool, Italy has capitulated. Now we just have Germany and Hungary. So let's move these forces over. And I think I would like to try to capitulate Hungary now, leaving Germany by themselves. Let's see if this is even something that we can do. Also, I have been working my way down to the Prussia of the Balkans focus, because this is a pretty great national spirit. And I want to... Yeah, so I'm just kind of doing my first and I guess only big push. We are absolutely destroying them, and it is because we have wonderful air support. Where is that air support at? There it is. Plus 35% stats. Yeah, we are chewing through the Germans like they are nothing, because they are nothing in the sight of the Balkans. But honestly, it's because we have a ton of planes. Like we have a ton. Cass and infantry with artillery. That's really all you need, and you'll march straight to victory. Completely in Polish hands. But it was taken by Balkan troops. There we go. And that is it. Let's make sure we take all of our core states. Even though these aren't cores, I'm going to be taking them. Okay, that's not bad. Not too bad of a world. Balkan Germany. Yeah, and now I just have to annex down Italy so that I can take this state. And then that's the achievement. That's it. Okay, and with Italy annexed down, there we go. There's only one more thing we need to do to get that achievement. We need to be a faction leader. And currently, yeah, we're a part of the Soviet Union. So let's leave their faction. And unfortunately, we cannot make our own faction, but there are plenty of factions that we can join. For example, the Ethiopian African Union, or even Xinjiang's Chinese United Front. Pretty much just find any of the factions that are on the map, besides like the Allies or Comintern, any of the smaller factions. The African Union will always exist in late game historical. It's weird, but it does. And Chinese United Front, same thing. It should always exist. Join the faction. They will give it, and then we can take over the faction. There we go. There's the achievement. It is pretty much simple as that.